King Obu's eyes narrowed. "Are you challenging me?" "I'm protecting what's mine." The king stood, his voice booming. "Then get ready, we'll settle this with fight." The advisor gasped. "My king, a ruler doesn't fight a common man." But King Obu raised his hand. "On the next market day, in the palace courtyard, we will fight. If you win, you keep her. If I win, you give her to me or leave this land forever." Madu looked at Ngozi. Once upon a time, in the peaceful village of Umidike. The village of Umidike was a place where stories live in the wind and wisdom like yam vines. Nestled between red clay hills and thick palm forests, it was a land of laughter, tradition, and secrets. The roads were dusty but alive with footsteps, and the air smelled of roasted maize, fresh rain, and the sweet sap of palm trees. Children ran barefoot, chasing butterflies and dreams, while elders sat beneath mango trees, telling tales at bent time. At the heart of this village stood a palace, not made of gold or marble, but of mud walls and wooden gates carved with ancient symbols. It was strong, simple, and proud, just like the people who built it. And inside that palace lived a man who was anything far from simple. King Obu. He was short, so short that when he walked, his belly arrived before the rest of him. His skin was dark and shiny, stretched tight over his round frame like a drum. His cheeks puffed out like yam balls, and his fingers were thick like plantain stalks. But what made him truly unforgettable was not his size. It was his presence. When King Obu entered a room, the air changed. People stopped talking. Birds stopped singing. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Obu ruled not with wisdom, but with fear. He didn't listen to advice unless it came with praise. He didn't ask questions. He gave orders. And he believed that nothing and no one was beyond his reach. If he saw something he wanted, he took it. If someone dared to say no, they were punished. His ego was large in the hills that surrounded Umidike, and his temper was hotter than the village fire pit. Yet every year, the people of Umidike gathered to celebrate the Feast of Abundance, a festival of food, music, and dancing to honor the harvest. It was the one time King Obu allowed joy to fill the palace. He would sit on his royal chair, chewing goat meat and drinking palm wine, while the villagers sang and danced before him. It was a show, and he was always the center of it. This year was different. The king had invited Madu. Madu was the village's most talented musician. He was tall, lean, and graceful, with skin like polished mahogany and eyes that held stories. When he played his guitar, even the trees seemed to sway. His voice could calm a crying child or stir the hearts of warriors. Every woman in Umidike admired him, and every man respected him. He was humble, kind, and strong, not just in body, but in spirit. Madu had accepted the king's invitation with quiet pride. He saw it as a chance to honor his village and share his gift. But he didn't come alone. At his side was Ngozi. Ngozi was a vision. Her beauty was not loud. It was gentle like the morning mist. Her eyes were deep and thoughtful, her smile soft and sincere. She moved with the grace of a river, and when she spoke, her voice was like a lullaby. She had been promised Madu by Chief Onuna, her father, a respected elder from a neighboring village. Madu hoped to marry her after the harvest, making her his third wife. But to him, she was more than a bride. She was his heart. As the sun dipped low, casting golden light over the village, the palace gates opened wide. Villagers poured in, men, women, and children dressed in their finest ankara wrappers and beads. The courtyard buzzed with excitement. Drummers warmed their hands. Dancers stretched their legs. Children giggled and chased each other between the mats. Ngozi sat in the front row, her ankara wrapper a soft shade of blue, her earrings catching the firelight. She sipped palm wine slowly, her eyes watching Madu with quiet pride. Then the music began. Madu stepped onto the stage, dressed in a simple armless ankara fabric. His guitar, carved from local wood, rested against his chest. He strummed gently, and the air changed. The notes floated like butterflies, landing on every ear and heart. The villagers swayed. Some closed their eyes. Others clapped softly. It was magic. King Obu sat on his royal chair, chewing loudly, his fingers greasy with meat. Two maids knelt beside the king. one holding a platter of goat meat, and the other a large calabash of palm wine. A guard stood behind him, fanning him with a gold-plated fan. The king's eyes wandered lazily over the crowd, until they stopped. He saw her, Ngozi. Her earrings sparkled. Her eyes glowed. Her posture was perfect. The king stopped chewing. He leaned forward, his mouth slightly open, his gaze fixed. "Who is that girl?" he grunted. His advisor, a thin man with nervous eyes, leaned in. "That's Ngozi, your majesty, the musician's woman. She came with him." King Obu's lips curled into a greedy smile. "I want her. Bring her to me." Two palace guards, tall, scarred, and silent, stepped into crowd. They walked up to Ngozi, their shadows long and heavy. "Come with us," one said. "The king wants to see you." Ngozi looked up calmly. "Why?" "I demand to know my offense." He just wants to talk," the guard stammered. "I came with someone," she said firmly. "I can't leave without his permission." The guards hesitated. "This is the king." "Then take that message back to him," she replied. The guards returned, heads low. "She refused, your majesty," one said. King Obu's face darkened. "She what?" She said, "She's not interested." The king stood slowly, his belly trembling with rage. "She dares insult me? In my palace?" The advisor stepped back, afraid. At the end of Madu's performance, just as the crowd erupted in applause, the guards approached him. "The king wants to see you. Now." Madu followed them calmly. Inside the palace, King Obu smiled, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "You play well, Madu." "Thank you, your majesty. I saw the girl you came with. Very, very beautiful. Is she your wife?" "She is not yet my wife, my king, but she has been promised to me by Chief Onuna, her father. We plan to marry after the harvest." "I want her," the king said. "Anything I want comes to me." "She's not yours to take," Madu replied. Silence fell. The guards shifted uneasily. King Obu's eyes narrowed. "Are you challenging me?" "I'm protecting what's mine." The king stood, his voice booming. "Then get ready, we'll settle this with fight." The advisor gasped. "My king, a ruler doesn't fight a common man." But King Obu raised his hand. "On the next market day, in the palace courtyard, we will fight. If you win, you keep her. If I win, you give her to me or leave this land forever." Madu looked at Ngozi. Ngozi looked back, and she nodded. The crowd buzzed. The story spread. The challenge was set. And Yumidike would never be the same again. Whispers before the storm. The morning after the Feast of Abundance, Yumidike woke up not to the sound of roosters, but to the sound of whispers. "Did you hear? The king wants to fight Madu. A ruler against a musician? Has madness finally swallowed the palace?" The news spread like wildfire, from the palm groves to the yam barns, from the stream to the market square. Every mouth carried the tale. Children repeated it with wide eyes, pretending to be King Obu and Madu in playful duels. Elders shook their heads, their wrinkled faces full of worry. Women gathered at the well, their voices low and urgent. "This has never happened before," said Mama Ifioma, the village's oldest woman. "Kings do not fight commoners. It is against the gods." "But the king is not a king of wisdom," replied another. "He is a king of pride." In the palace, the king paced like a lion. His advisors tried to reason with him, but he waved them away. "She insulted me," he growled. "He challenged me. I will show them both who rules this land." He ordered the courtyard to be cleared. He demanded new weapons be polished. He summoned his personal trainer, a man named Ngozi, who had once wrestled a crocodile and lived to tell the tale. "Train me," the king said. "I must crush him." Ngozi looked at the king's round belly and sighed. "Your majesty, strength is not only in size. It is in speed, balance, and breath." "Then teach me all of it," the king snapped. "I will not lose." Meanwhile, Madu sat quietly beneath the shade of an old irako tree. His guitar lay beside him, untouched. His thoughts were heavy, but his heart was calm. Ngozi sat beside him, her fingers gently tracing the lines on his palm. "They will cheat," she whispered. "He will not fight fair." "I know," Madu replied, "but I will not fear him. He has power, but I must protect you. Ngozi, let's flee the village before the fight, and start fresh somewhere they'll never look for us. Cowards run, heroes face the test. I must stand and protect what is mine." That evening, Chief Onuna arrived from the neighboring village. He was tall and stern, with a walking stick carved from ebony wood. "You have brought shame to my name," he said to Madu. "You should have bowed. You should have let her go." Madu stood. "I love her. I will not trade her for peace." Chief Onuna's eyes softened. "Then fight well, win, and make her your wife." The chief turned to Ngozi. "You are my daughter. Do not cry. You were born of strength." Ngozi nodded, her eyes glistening. As the market day approached, the village prepared. Mats were laid out. Drums were tuned. Palm wine was brewed in large clay pots. Traders arrived early, hoping to witness history. Even travelers from distant lands came, drawn by the strange tale of a king who would fight a musician over a woman. The palace courtyard was transformed. A large circle was marked in the dust, surrounded by ropes made of twisted raffia. Guards stood at every corner. A healer was summoned, just in case. On the eve of the fight, Madu visited the shrine of Amadioha, the god of justice and thunder. He has not visited the shrine for over 2 years. He knelt before the carved statue, offering kola nuts and prayers. "Let truth guide my hands," he whispered. "Let honor protect my soul." The priest, an old man with white chalk on his face, placed a hand on Madu's shoulder. "I'm glad you visited today. It's been over 2 years since you've come by. Don't worry, you do not fight alone," he said. "The gods watch. The ancestors listen." That night, the village was silent. Even the crickets seemed to pause. Fires burned low. Families gathered close. Mothers held their children tighter. Fathers sharpened their machetes, not for war, but for protection. In the palace, King Obu soaked in a bath of herbs and oils. His body glistened, his eyes wild. "I will crush him," he muttered. "I will break his pride." His advisor, now pale with worry, tried once more. "Your Majesty, if you lose." "I will not lose." King Obu roared. "I am the king." The next morning, the sun rose slowly, casting long shadows across the village. The air was thick with tension. People arrived early, carrying stools, mats, and baskets of food. Some climbed trees. Others sat on rooftops. At the edge of the crowd, Ngozi sat alone, her hands folded in her lap. Her heart beat like a drum. She watched the palace doors, waiting. Then the drums began. Doom, doom, doom. The sound echoed through the hills. The palace doors opened. Out came King Obu, bare-chested, huge, glorious in his madness. His belly bounced with each step. His arms were wrapped in red cloth. His feet stomped like thunder. The crowd gasped, and from the other side came Madu, lean, focused, calm. His fists were wrapped in white cloth. His eyes were locked forward. He walked like a man who had already made peace with the outcome. The two men stood face to face. The sun was high. The dust rose beneath their feet. The drums beat louder. Doom, doom, doom. The crowd held their breath, and the fight was about to begin. The clash of pride and protection. The sun hung like a golden drum in the sky, beating down on the palace courtyard. The air was thick with dust and anticipation. Every eye in Umudike was fixed on the two men standing in the center of the fighting circle. King Obu, the ruler of the land, and Madu, the musician of the people. The drums stopped. Silence fell. Even the birds seemed to pause mid-flight. King Obu stood tall, or as tall as his round body allowed. His chest heaved with pride, his belly glistened with sweat. He wore a red cloth around his waist, tied tightly to hold in his bulk. His fists were clenched, his eyes burning with fury. Madu stood opposite him, calm as a still river. His lean body was wrapped in white cloth, his feet bare, his eyes steady. He didn't blink. He didn't flinch. He simply waited. The village elder, chosen to oversee the fight, stepped forward. He was a thin man with a long beard, and a voice like dry leaves. "Let this fight be fair," he said. "Let it be clean. Let it be true. The winner shall take what he has earned. The loser shall accept what he has lost." He raised his hand. "Begin!" King Obi charged. His feet thundered against the ground. Dust flew. His arms swung wide, aiming for Madu's head. But Madu stepped aside. Effortlessly, the crowd gasped. Obi stumbled, caught his balance, and turned. He roared like a wounded lion. "You dare dodge me?" Pointing at Madu. Madu didn't answer. He waited. Obi charged again, this time faster, angrier. He swung his fist, but Madu ducked. He kicked, but Madu jumped back. Obi tried to grab him, but Madu twisted away. It was like watching a dance of fury and grace. Obi was strong, but slow. Madu was light, but sharp. The crowd began to murmur. Obi was missing every strike. Madu is too fast. Can the king even win? Obi paused, panting. His chest rose and felt like a drum. His face was red. His arms trembled. Madu stood still, untouched. "You mock me," Obi shouted. "I respect you," Madu replied, "but I will not let you take what is not yours." Obi screamed and charged again. This time, he managed to grab Madu's arm. The crowd gasped. Obi lifted him slightly, then slammed him to the ground. Dust exploded. Ngozi screamed. Madu groaned, his back aching. Obi raised his arms in triumph. "I am the king," he shouted. "I win." But the elder stepped forward. "The fight is not over," he said. "He is not defeated." Obi growled. Madu slowly stood, brushing dust from his face. He looked at Ngozi. She nodded. He turned back to Obi. And then Madu attacked. He moved like lightning. A punch to the chest, a kick to the leg, a twist, a spin, a strike. Obi stumbled. He fell to one knee. The crowd roared. Obi tried to stand, but Madu struck again, this time to the shoulder. Obi fell flat. His belly hit the ground with a thud. Silence. The elder stepped forward. "Do you yield?" he asked. Obi groaned. I. He looked up. Thank you for tuning in. Stay with us in the next episode as the story unfolds. You won't miss what happens next.